You're listening to the Kirkintilloch Herald, a Q&Review recording service podcast, brought to you by our team of volunteers currently recording from their homes across Scotland. Whether you're listening via the BWBF online players, the telephone app, or our brand new Alexa skill, please phone us on 0141 772 3976 to feedback on what you want us to provide and improve upon. Please also join your family and friends in being our audio ambassadors and share our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram all at Q&Review. That's at symbol CUEANDREVIEW.
This week's Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald podcast, date Wednesday the 13th of July 2022, as read to you by myself, Ian, Georgina, Hunter, Alan and Corey. Canal will be safer. Report by Brian Newell. The police at East Bartonshire has launched Operation Safer Ways as part of the summer programme targeting criminality on canal paths and open spaces. The launch took place in Kirkintilloch alongside a bike marking event and was very well received within the local community. Community Inspector Alan Ferris said, "We were delighted to launch our Safer Ways operation with East Bartonshire. This is part of several projects which are aimed at improving the safety and well-being of the local community. Kirkintilloch is known as the canal capital of Scotland, and this operation looks to ensure that the cycling and walking routes across the whole of our policing area are kept safe for shared use. We have local and nationally recognised routes, as well as the gateway to the West Highland Way. The operation marks the start of working with partners to provide additional patrols within the area. This includes Scottish Canals and East Bartonshire Council, which is providing temporary CCTV along the networks that can be rotated. We will also commit to additional police officers, both in plain clothes and high visibility foot and cycle patrols, as well as providing pop-up street stalls, providing personal safety advice. We hope that this will reassure users, as well as deter and detect antisocial behaviour or criminal behaviour in months to come." Police Constable Adiman added, "At launch day for Safer Ways, we were able to engage with a large number of our community, listening to their concerns and outlining our plans to promote responsible use of our canals, paths and parks. We spoke with several families, groups and lone cyclists, as well as national and international tourists, and we're delighted with the positive feedback received for our Safer Ways operation. We hope that we can promote and work towards an even safer use of these shared spaces. To keep up to date with activities locally, follow East Bartonshire Police on Twitter." This week in history. July the 13th, 1930, the first World Cup football tournament kicked off in Uruguay. On this day last year, a seal first spotted off the Norfolk coast more than 2 years previously with a plastic disc stuck around her neck was nursed back to health. July 14, 1967, Parliament voted to legalise abortion. On this day last year, construction started on the site of the new Paisley Museum as the town's transformation of its high street began. July 15th, 1965, close-up pictures of Mars were transmitted by TV from the Mariner 4th satellite. July 16th, 1953, Hilaire Belloc, writer of many talents, died. He had written his own epitaph, which read, "When I am dead, I hope it may be said, his sins were scarlet, but his books were red." On this day last year, a new project was announced to record the Earth's pulse on the ocean floor by placing 50 highly sensitive measuring tools on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. July 17th, 1959, jazz singer Billie Holiday was arrested on her deathbed in hospital for possession of narcotics. She died later that day. July 18th, 1936, the Spanish Civil War began when the army, led by General Franco, revolted against the Republican government. It lasted 3 years. On this day last year, most legal coronavirus restrictions were lifted in England on a day dubbed Freedom Day.
Blueprint for New Era by Morag Cook. Read today by myself, Georgina. People are being invited to find out more about an emerging blueprint which aims to create a new era for the Bishopbriggs town centre. The Bishopbriggs Public Realm Plan is part of the Council's £34 million Place and Growth programme, which is supported by £15 million each from the UK and Scottish governments through the Glasgow City Region City Deal. Consultation took place last summer to help guide preparations of the plan, with more than 650 people engaging via an interactive story map. For those without online access, a reference copy of the plan and display boards will be available in Bishopbriggs Library from mid-July until the end of August. The aims of the plan are 1. To give pedestrians, cyclists and public transport priority over cars. 2. To rework the existing public realm and deliver new public spaces, creating new opportunities for all. And 3. Making the town centre a more active, inclusive and engaging place in which to spend time. Councillor Gordon Lau, council leader, said, quote, "The council's £34 million City Deal Place and Growth programme represents a significant opportunity for the residents of Bishopbriggs to shape the future of their area. It's vital that we develop a public realm plan which helps to create and maintain a sustainable, attractive and thriving town centre that everyone can enjoy and take pride in. Not only do we intend that the plan should benefit the health and well-being of local people and visitors, we would also want it to stimulate further economic investment and business growth within Bishopbriggs." End quote. Pick Everard, Heirs Limited and Nick Wright Planning were appointed by the Council in January 2021 to form a design team. A comprehensive review of the existing public realm was carried out, and an outline design concept has been produced. There will now be a rigorous follow-on design process, which will include tasks such as detailed design, community and stakeholder engagement, and further site investigations. This will be progressed in tandem with the A803 Kirkintilloch Road design works. Article by Morag Cook.
Stricken kittens found at canal. These tiny kittens, plus one which did not make it, was a heartbreaking sight that met a member of the public walking along the Forth and Clyde Canal last week. The vulnerable animals were spied on the route just west of Twecker by a passerby who had the presence of mind to alert the Scottish SPCA. Sadly, the person who found them saw that one of the cats had not survived being exposed to the elements in this way. Animal welfare officers do not know if the animals were dumped or are simply strays, but have launched an investigation to try and find out where they came from. Scottish SPCA Inspector Jack Marshall said, "We're unsure if these kittens have been abandoned or are strays. However, if they are strays, it's a very strange location to find them in due to how remote it is. Sadly, one of the kittens had already passed away by the time they were discovered, and the other 3 were in poor body condition. They have been checked by a vet and are now at one of our animal rescue and rehoming centres where they are receiving the care they need. They are not currently available for rehoming. We appreciate that the person who left these kittens may have intended for the animals to be found, but this is not the right way to give up any animal if you can no longer care for them. If anyone is struggling to care for an animal and is in need of advice and support or recognises these kittens, we would ask that they contact our confidential animal helpline by calling 0300 999 999. Read by Alan Todd. Industrial unit sold for £4.68 million. Property and private equity manager Maven Capital Partners has sold 111 Westerhill Road, Bishopbriggs, to a joint venture administered by M7, the specialist in pan-European real estate, for £4.687 million, generating a 2.54 times return for investors. The property comprises an industrial unit of 112,000 square feet situated in Westerhill Business Park. The site extends across 2.94 hectares, 7.3 acres, providing a large warehouse manufacturing area as well as ancillary office space and substantial car parking for 168 vehicles. Constructed in 2000, The warehouse currently serves as the headquarters to former Maven investee John McGavigan Limited, a global designer and manufacturer of engineered plastic components for the automotive industry. Andrew Whiteley, partner at Maven, said, "We are delighted with the investment return we have achieved for our investors. 111 Westerhill Road has been a top-performing asset within our portfolio, occupied by a tenant we had backed previously through our private equity division. Since we purchased the property 4 years ago, it has generated an attractive rental yield. The recently agreed new 10-year lease with McGavigan provides excellent security for the new owners." Ewan Burns from M7 added, The off-market opportunity proved compelling value in the current industrial investment environment. Ryden advised Maven, while Burns Property Consultancy acted for M7.
Licence granted as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. An organic food retailer in Kirkintilloch has been given the go-ahead to carry a small range of alcoholic beverages. Locavore, which opened in the former Woolworths in Cowgate last year, was granted permission to sell a range of organic wines, beers and spirits not commonly found in large supermarkets by Eastern Bartonshire Council's licensing board. The Local Health and Social Care Partnership objected to the application on the grounds the store is located in an area already overprovided with alcohol sales. However, this was challenged by company representatives who said the premium price of the organic products was likely to deter alcoholic abuse. Also, people who shop in stores like Locavore tend to be those seeking healthier options that are found elsewhere.
Youth volunteers celebrated. Police Scotland youth volunteers from the Greater Glasgow Division celebrated their success of the last year at their local awards ceremonies. The young people received their induction certificates and Saltire awards as they were rewarded for all their hard work and volunteering in the community. The division also had the opportunity to say goodbye to some of its long-serving youths as they move on to the next chapter in their lives and were wished all the best of luck in the future. The organisers were delighted to welcome a number of senior officers to the event, including the Divisional Commander, Chief Superintendent Mark Sutherland, who presented all the awards. Free Period Products by Brian Yule. Eastern Bartonshire Council wants to hear your views on the availability of free period products in the area. Period products have been available free of charge since 2018 in Eastern Bartonshire schools and since 2019 in 12 community locations, including the Council's community hubs, community halls and community centres. Making period products available for free becomes law next month, and to help to develop the availability of free products locally, a survey is currently running until Friday, July 22nd. Council leader Gordon Lowe said, quote, "We made a commitment to engage with and listen to our Eastern Bartonshire communities. Providing free period products is a positive contribution to the cost of living crisis, but we want to hear directly from our communities on both what products should be available, including more sustainable options, and where period products should be available. There should be no stigma to accessing free period products, and we really want to hear the views of those who currently access our free products, and also from those who do not yet but would in the future. We want to break down any barriers to accessing provision and make sure that the products available are those that our communities want to use." End quote. The survey gives people the opportunity to let the council know what they currently access and where, views on the range of products that could be made available, and where they could be made available. This will then inform the next phase of community provision in the area. The survey is available online by visiting www.easternbarton.gov.uk/consultation community access free period products, and will be promoted on social media and in community locations throughout the area. There will also be printed copies available for those who prefer to complete the survey in this way. Period products are also available for free in all of the council's schools. Following the start of the new school session in August, there will be further engagement with school communities to understand preferences and further develop the free provision available in schools. Article by Brian Yule.
Cruel carer is warned. A cruel carer told colleagues she hated a vulnerable resident at a Bishopbriggs care home and swore at him. Sharon Henderson has been slapped with a warning for her behaviour while employed at Mavis Bank Care Centre in October 2019. Support worker Henderson repeatedly shouted at the wheelchair user to stand up while transferring him from a chair before saying, "I hate him." She then branded the resident and putting him at emotional harm, according to the Scottish Social Services Council, SSSC. The watchdog body placed a warning on Henderson's registration for a period of 18 months after admitting there is concern this may happen again in future. The behaviour occurred more than 2 years ago and no further incidents have been reported in that time. The report stated, while transferring A from a chair to a wheelchair in the lounge, shout at him repeatedly to stand up or words to that effect. On leaving the lounge area, state, "I hate him," or words to that effect in the vicinity of colleagues. On leaving A's bedroom, state, or words to that effect in the vicinity of colleagues, and your fitness to practice is impaired because of your misconduct. Henderson no longer works for HC1 company that runs Mavis Bank after her actions were slammed by the SSSC. The report states, service users have the right to expect that they will be treated with dignity and respect by the people who care for them. There is a power imbalance that exists between staff and service users, and treating a service user in this manner is likely to cause them fear or discomfort due to their vulnerabilities. While this is an isolated incident, the behaviour occurred over the course of a day, putting the service user at risk of harm several times. You have denied the behaviour, and while entitled to do so, it makes it difficult to assess the level of insight shown. You have been working in social services since 2017, and while no other matters have been reported to us in that time, there is some concern that you may treat other service users in a similar manner in future. A spokesperson for Mavis Bank said, "The health, safety and well-being of our residents and colleagues is our top priority. The type of behaviour exhibited by this individual goes against our values and expectations as the kind care company, and as such, we support the decision of the SSSC. The individual in question no longer works for HC1 in any capacity. When we first became aware of the behaviour that had occurred, we took swift action to launch an investigation to establish the facts and to refer the incident to all relevant authorities, including the SSSC. We have worked closely with the SSSC throughout their investigations. We will always support appropriate action being taken against any individual who does not meet the high standard of kindness we expect and which everyone living and working in our home rightly deserves."
Welcoming Lights reinstatement in Kirkintilloch. Report by Neil McGrory. Disability campaigners have hailed Eastern Bartonshire Council's decision to reinstate traffic lights at a busy junction in Kirkintilloch town centre as a victory for common sense. At a recent meeting, Council leader Gordon Lowe successfully pushed for lights to be reintroduced at the Catherine Street junction, going against recommendations made by council officers. The state of the junction has long been a source of controversy, with some feeling pedestrian safety is poor, while others argued changing the layout will only make matters worse. Councillor Lowe said that the junction had been consulted on repeatedly, and the views of the community had not changed. He based his argument on support for vulnerable road users, especially people with disabilities, and his motion was ultimately voted through, despite other councillors and officers expressing concern over the potential impact on traffic flow and the cost of remodelling the junction, estimated to be at several £100,000. Sandy Taylor, chair of Eastern Bartonshire Visual Impaired People's Forum, has been campaigning on this issue for several years. He said, "News that the traffic lights, together with controlled crossings, are to be reinstated in Kirkintilloch is welcome news for the many disabled and elderly people of the town. We, the members of ED-VIP, have been campaigning, along with others, over 7 years over this discriminatory scheme. Previous councils, together with the Kirkintilloch Community Council, refused to listen to local people, including over 3,500 who signed my petition against this dangerous scheme, which has led many to abandon the town altogether, due to fears for their safety. This council ruling is a victory for common sense, democracy and, most of all, our equality and human rights. I applaud those councillors who made this decision and look forward to an early resolution to this awful scheme. We now ask for the same common sense to be applied to our pavements, which are cluttered with excessive cafe furniture. This prevents many of us from accessing many of the businesses in the town whom we wish to support.
Plaque is unveiled. Provost Gillian Rennick carried out her first official duty with Lord Lieutenant Mrs. Jill Young, MBE, earlier this month, when they unveiled the Queen's green canopy plaque that will be displayed next to a newly planted tree in Kirkintilloch. A Tai Haku, great white cherry tree, was planted in Woodhead Park in the spring as part of the Queen's Green Canopy initiative, which is encouraging people and organisations to plant a tree for the Jubilee. Provost Rennick said it was an honour to unveil the plaque that will be displayed next to the new tree, letting passers-by know of its significance to the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. During the course of her 70-year reign, Her Majesty the Queen planted more than 1,500 trees across the world, and now there is one more in Eastern Bartonshire to mark the occasion. Lord Lieutenant Mrs. Jill Young, MBE, added, "The Jubilee celebrations have been fabulous and are not over yet. I was delighted to join Provost Rennick to do our bit to contribute to the Queen's Green Canopy initiative, which is very special to Her Majesty. A new tree promises to be a lasting reminder of the Jubilee year. There will be more opportunities from October until the end of the year for more tree planting across the area. Anyone who would like to take part should visit the QGC website for more details. Tai Haku means big white in Japanese, hence its common name of great white cherry. It can grow to between 5 to 6 metres tall, has a lifespan of around 30 years and produces beautiful white flowers in spring. The Queen's Green Canopy is a unique tree planting initiative created to mark Her Majesty's Platinum Jubilee, which invites people from across the United Kingdom to plant a tree for the Jubilee. Everyone from individuals to Scout and Girl guiding groups, villages, cities, counties, schools and corporates will be encouraged to play their part to enhance our environment by planting trees during the official season between October to March. Tree planting will commence again in October. Fill up for £5 off shopping. Drivers filling up at selected Asda petrol filling stations in Scotland, including Bishopbriggs and Rob Royston, will receive a voucher giving them a £5 discount off their shopping when they spend £40 or more in store. To receive the voucher, shoppers need a minimum £5 spend on fuel until Friday, July the 15th, with all vouchers to be redeemed by July the 31st. A spokesperson said Asda is trialling the voucher to help support customers with the rising cost of living increases. Recent Asda research showed that 58% of customers are doing fewer, larger shops to save on fuel, and 51% are combining grocery shopping with other errands to keep driving costs down. To redeem the offer, customers need to show their fuel receipt to checkout operators or self-checkout host. Once verified, the discount will be applied to the shop of over £40. For more information about the promotion, visit www.asda.com/fuel-offer.
Routes to Work. Employability Milestone by Morag Cook, reporter. North Lanarkshire Employability Service Routes to Work is celebrating a significant milestone, helping 20,000 people into work. Clients, employers, staff, elected members and partners were welcomed to a celebratory event by the interim chairman of the Roots to Work board, John McDougall. In the 20 years since Roots to Work was established, it has transformed the lives of 20,000 residents, which is a remarkable achievement, Mr McDougall said. When someone comes to Roots to Work, they start on a journey with many steps along the way, and the support they receive from so many people at every step is what makes this service so successful. And when you consider that it has cost an average of £2,100 to support each person into work over the last 20 years, compared to £9,000 in benefits for a single unemployed person, Roots to Work is a highly cost-effective service which saves the public purse millions of pounds a year. Roots to Work provides a free, confidential service helping unemployed residents in North Lanarkshire to access opportunities in employment, education and training. Staff provide advice, information, guidance and practical support to develop and enhance the employment prospects of clients. The 20,000th person to be supported by Roots to Work is Catherine Scorgie, who attended the celebration event when her story was shared. When Catherine first registered with Roots to Work in October 2019, she told her caseworker Janice that her dream was to bake cakes. With no real work experience and lacking in confidence, Catherine attended courses to build her self-esteem and gain employability skills before successfully applying for a work placement to give her a taster of what work would be like. In May 2021, Catherine was offered a full-time kitchen assistant post in the Royal Hotel in Crieff, a huge step as it involved moving to a new town and renting a flat. The job was busy and Catherine experienced a range of duties around the kitchen, which she enjoyed. This learning experience allowed Catherine to apply for a new job at Crieff Hydro at the end of last year. She was successful and is now in her dream job as a pastry chef. So she now spends her days baking those cakes she told Janice about way back at the start of her journey with Roots to Work. I'm still standing and I wouldn't be where I am today without the support from Roots to Work and Janice the whole way through, Catherine said. 1,000 thank yous for everything. It is an amazing feeling to be one of 20,000 people to be helped into work by Roots to Work. Keep going strong in the future. Councillor David Di Mastio, convener of the Council's Enterprise, Growth and Fair Work Committee, attended the event and presented Catherine with a gift to mark the occasion. He said, "It was inspiring to see the excellent work done by everyone at Roots to Work over the past 20 years in supporting 20,000 people into employment. By developing skills, knowledge and experience in each individual, the staff has contributed to improving the quality of life of each person and their families." Importantly, the celebration event also looked to the future and how Roots to Work will continue to grow and enhance the service it provides to meet the new challenges in the job market and the economy for many more North Lanarkshire residents. For the future, Roots to Work aims to look beyond the figures relating to economic value and cost per person and assess the wider finances and non-financial benefits created by the service's day-to-day activities. Robin Turner, Chief Executive of Roots to Work, said, "We are grateful to everyone who attended the event and helped celebrate our milestone achievement of supporting our 20,000th North Lanarkshire resident into employment. Our work and achievements would not be possible without the support and investment made by our services by many public bodies, but particularly without the special relationship we have with North Lanarkshire Council, who have been principal investor throughout the past 20 years. We look forward to working with the Council and other statutory and third sector services in pursuit of supporting the next 20,000 North Lanarkshire residents into work." Roots to Work provides an individually tailored service to support people on their journey into sustainable employment. It provides support and guidance to help daily challenges such as childcare, CVs, confidence building, as well as an application form and an interview preparation. The mainstream service can also help you with literacy and numeracy issues, computer skills and SQE awards, and can also help with financial support such as travel costs, subsistence, childcare funding and industry-specific training. For more information, visit www.rootstowork.co.uk.
Twecker rapist has been jailed for 12 years. A Twecker man has been jailed for a series of sexual assaults, including the rape of a schoolgirl while on holiday in Florida. Matthew Mackey, 68, has been sentenced to 12 years imprisonment after being found guilty of a string of attacks spanning a 20-year period. A jury heard how the security officer had committed rapes and sexual assaults on 3 victims between 1999 and 2019 at locations in Lanarkshire, Renfrewshire and Eastern Bartonshire. A 12-year-old girl was raped in a hotel room by Mackey, who ran a car wash in Barhead, while she was on a trip to Orlando, Florida in 2002, and the abuse continued on her return to Scotland. The youngest victim was just 7 years old when Mackey started abusing her. Her third victim was 17 when she met Mackey. His third victim was 17 when she met Mackey, then 44 at work. He went on to repeatedly rape and assault her. In June, the High Court in Glasgow, Mackey was found guilty of 2 counts of assault and rape, 1 count of indecent assault and 1 count of sexual assault. Mackey back at the High Court for sentencing, as he was jailed for a total of 12 years and his name was added to the Sex Offenders Register indefinitely. Welcoming the sentence, Fraser Gibson, Scotland's Procurator Fiscal for High Court Sexual Offences, said, "Matthew Mackey was a danger to girls and women over the course of many years. His offending had been brought to an end by the courage of those he targeted. His case shows that allegations of sex abuse do not disappear with the passage of time. Every report made forms a picture of criminal behaviour which the Crown will consider in the pursuit of justice. Our children are protected by our judicial system, even when the child sexual abuse is perpetrated abroad by British nationals or residents. We would encourage any victims of sexual assault to come forward, report it and seek help. Victims of sexual assault can contact the dedicated Sexual Assault Referral Centre, Archway, by calling 0141 211 8175, Police Scotland via 101 or the Rape Crisis Scotland National Helpline on 08088 01 03 02.
Filming at Cadder. Cadder Church in Bishopbriggs hosted an Australian production company which is filming a new documentary featuring Thomas Muir of Hunters Hill. Thomas Muir, recognised as the father of Scottish democracy, was a former elder of the church, where a dispute with a local landowner over the right to choose the next minister went to the Court of Session. Those interviewed included University of Glasgow professors Gerard Carruthers and Lindsay Farmer, author Murray Armstrong, and Jimmy Watson from Friends of Thomas Muir. The Conviction Politics project by Monash University explores histories of the reform, resistance and rebellion of convicts transported as political prisoners to Australia in the 18th and 19th centuries, and impact on shaping democracy.
Scotland on Tour brings top musicians to Lenzie. As part of Scotland on Tour initiative, virtuoso, clarisist and harpist Savorna Stevenson and noted saxophonist Steve Ketley will perform at St Cyprian's Church, Lenzie on Saturday, July 30th. The duo, who have known each other for more than 20 years, have been enjoying a successful and creative reunion since 2017, performing at festivals and concerts throughout the UK. They will release their duo CD, The Wine of Life, on the Cooking vinyl label next month. The pair will perform a dynamic blend of haunting melodies, pulsating rhythms and stirring improvisations, breaking stylistic barriers while maintaining Scottish roots. Savorna said, "Steve and I are really looking forward to performing some of our new material at St Cyprian's Church this summer. It has been great fun working on our duo album together and we can't wait to put it out into the world." Steve added, "We've been working as a duo for nearly 5 years now and love to get on the stage and perform together. Scotland on Tour is a really brilliant initiative and we're delighted to be able to perform in Lenzie later this month." Scotland on Tour was launched in April and will run until March 2023, supporting the creation of hundreds of concerts and performances at art centres, town halls and community venues across Scotland. The project, which has been created and managed by Active Events, was made possible by £750,000 of Scottish Government backing. and will see more than 120 artists perform at more than 100 venues. Katie Hull from Music at St Cyprian's said, "Music at St Cyprian's are delighted for the opportunity provided by Scotland on Tour to welcome Savorna Stevenson and Steve Ketley to perform in the beautiful acoustics of St Cyprian's in Lenzie. The importance of concerts and the value of the audience experience have been highlighted by the pandemic. There really is no substitute for live performance in front of an audience. We are so happy that live music is back. Tickets for this and a raft of other shows are on sale now by visiting www.scotlandontour.com.
Opinion. Let's talk. Letters page for this week's Kirkintilloch Herald. If you have any letters to send them via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. Nicola and Boris are just like the two peas in a pod. Sir, how inconvenient of Boris Johnson, finally, to resign. He has served as a very useful bogeyman for Nicola Sturgeon and her party. Whoever succeeds him will still be a Tory, and therefore akin to the devil incarnate in her eyes. But that person surely cannot be as untruthful, devious and clumsy as Johnson. Miss Sturgeon has, of course, to say that she feels a widespread sense of relief at Johnson's demise, but he denies her as a valuable electoral tool. I heard a commentator refer to Johnson as a campaigner, not a governor, and the phrase peas in a pod came to mind. Ms Sturgeon and her party are not fit for government. They're a campaigning force with one aim. Take a look at the state of the devolved services that are supposed to be running, and I defy you not to say of the SNP, in Ms Sturgeon's tweeted words about the Tories, "The whole rotten lot need to go." Yours, etc., Jill Stevenson, by email. Company growth lagging in Scotland. Sir, if Scotland is ever to support itself as an independent country, it is of fundamental importance to our economy that we have several high-growth technological companies here. Indeed, the SNP says establishing such companies has always been a major priority of theirs. So, after 15 years in power, can they explain why, in the Sunday Times list of Britain's fastest-growing private companies, only 2 are Scottish? Yorkshire alone has over 3 times as many. Of the 2 Scottish companies, one sells pizza ovens and the other is a beer club. There is no technology, bioscience or manufacturing companies to be seen. Even the pizza ovens are made in China. This is an appalling indictment of the SNP government and their complete lack of understanding of industry and entrepreneurial business startups. However, at least in our poverty-stricken future, we will be able to drown our sorrows at beer and pizza parties. Yours, etc., Dr. Richard Marsh, address supplied. Big threat to fishing areas. Sir, a recent report published for the Scottish fishing industry has warned that offshore developments and expansion into marine protected areas could close more than half of Scottish fishing waters by 2050. This would result in real harm to our island and coastal communities, who are already under immense threat from rising fuel prices and post-Brexit issues. According to the report, the worst-case scenario would result in more than 50% of Scottish waters being out of bounds to our catching fleet by the middle of the century. Should these forecasts prove correct, it could lead to the demise of our fishing businesses, both offshore and onshore, which currently contribute in the region of £150 million to the Scottish economy. It is hard to understand why a low-carbon food like fish is under threat from the production of green energy, at a time when the fishing industry is already under threat from reduced quotas and vastly increases fuel prices. The voters in our Highland and Island coastal communities must hope that the doomsday scenario painted in the report will provide a wake-up call to both our governments before it is too late to salvage a vital asset to the Scottish economy. Yours, etc., D.G. McIntyre, by email. Free to vote for Labour. Sir, what good news, and I do not mean the disintegration of the Westminster government, that is merely a bonus. The fact that Labour have ruled out an electoral deal of any kind, either in Edinburgh or London, with the Nationalists, is significant and cheering indeed for we Scots on the pro-UK side of the constitutional argument. Thank heavens Keir Starmer and Anna Sawar have at last seen the light and will not be dealing with the zealot-driven SNP, which they accurately categorise as faux patriots. They are quite right to assert that Vladimir Putin would be backing the SNP in any way he could. It means a huge chunk of the electorate can now feel free to vote Labour again in Scotland, and to help bring down the most dreadful and eye-wateringly incompetent administration this country has ever experienced. Yours, etc., Alexander Mackay, by email.
Preparing workers for health and care. The NHS Scotland Academy is supporting people to join the health and social care workforce. More than 1,200 learners have now accessed its Preparing for Work in Health and Social Care programme. Launched in December 2021, the digital resource is designed to help support the NHS Scotland Recovery Programme by supporting those who are new to roles in health and social care, along with those applying for the first time, speed up their journey into their new career. Kevin Kelman, NHS Scotland Academy Director, said, "We are delighted with the success of this programme. Since its launch, over 1,200 learners from all across the country have accessed the digital learning materials. This digital resource enables people who are new to the field or thinking about a career in health and social care to be well prepared for what's involved, making a difference to the delivery of person-centred care all across the country." Available digitally, anytime from any device, it offers an interactive learning experience including videos, educational modules and quizzes to test knowledge. The online resources allow easier access to the most relevant information through two platforms: the healthcare programme curated by NHS Scotland Academy and the social care programme, which has been developed by the Scottish Social Services Council. Kevin added, "The healthcare programme is in two parts, one containing practical skill modules and the other containing non-technical skills which are essential to the healthcare environment. The social care programme has been developed by the Scottish Social Services Council as a resource intended to complement organisations' induction programmes. It will support workers, together with their employers, to identify what knowledge and guidance they need to be equipped and confident to safely provide person-centred support to their people in their new role. This is an invaluable tool for ensuring our workforce is as well prepared as they can be to provide the highest level of care possible. Visit www.nhsscotlandacademy.co.uk/education-and-training.
Dog attack is a real threat to our posties. There were 1,673 dog attacks reported on Royal Mail staff last year, an average of 32 attacks every week in the UK, with some leading to permanent and disabling injuries. The majority of dog attacks, 654 or 39%, took place at the front door. A further 498, 30%, took place in the garden, driveway or yard, and 134 or 8% in the street or road. Some 387 injuries were suffered through the letterbox, accounting for 23% of attacks. Injuries to posties resulted in more than 1,712 days of absence in 2021-22, with the longest period being 238 days. The total number of attacks represents a 1% drop during the 2021-22. The second year running, Royal Mail has reported a reduction in dog attacks on its staff, thought to be attributed by the move to contact-free deliveries during the pandemic. The company's pre-pandemic delivery methods were reinstated in April of this year, after the end of the reporting period. Philip Graham, Royal Mail Interim Director of Safety, said, quote, "We are pleased to see a slight decrease in dog attacks on our team this past year. However, as we begin to return to pre-pandemic delivery procedures, we want to ask our customers to continue to be aware of where their pets are when the postman delivers their mail. We know the number of attacks rises during the school holidays, when parents and children are at home and dogs are sometimes allowed unsupervised in the garden. While we want our customers to enjoy being outside with their pets, We also want to ask them to consider the danger unsupervised dogs pose to our colleagues." End quote.
Power to run their own bus services. The Scottish Government has now commenced powers in the Transport Scotland Act for local authorities to run their own bus services. Section 34 of the Act essentially gives local transport authorities power to run local bus services in any way they see fit, which they were previously prohibited from doing under the Transport Act 1985. This power sits alongside their existing ability to subsidise services. The provisions empower local authorities with the flexible tools they need to respond to their own transport challenges. Minister for Transport Jenny Gilruth said, "When the Transport Act Scotland was developed, local authorities asked us for flexible options to revitalise local bus networks, including running their own bus services, and I am pleased that they are now being empowered to do so." The Act was designed to help make Scotland's transport network cleaner, smarter and more accessible than ever before by giving local authorities the flexible tools they need to respond to their own transport challenges. We can deliver a more responsive and sustainable transport system for everyone. I recognise that not every local authority will want to run their own bus services. Some may opt for a partnership or franchise approach. What's key is that local authorities will soon have greater tools at their disposal to revitalise bus services. By investing over £500 million in funding for bus priority infrastructure, coupled with the rollout of free bus travel to under-22s and significant investment, we're responding to the climate emergency by placing buses at the front of our transport to a net zero society.
Youngsters will be empowered, by Julie Curry. A new partnership between Co-op and UK Youth will see young people in Scotland being given opportunities to make a difference through social action in local communities. The #IWill movement is a collaboration of over 1,000 organisations and 700 young ambassadors and champions, supported by charities UK Youth and Volunteering Matters. Co-op is partnering with UK Youth to grow the #IWill Scotland movement, working together with YouthLink Scotland. The £250,000 investment, funded by members through the Co-op Community Partnerships Fund, will be used to recruit, train and support new IWill ambassadors across the nations. The 10 to 25-year-olds will work together to make a difference in their communities through social action. Ambassadors will receive training and mentoring, supporting them to drive change at a local, national and UK-wide level. In addition, 150 new IWill champions will be recruited, who will help spread the word and develop their own social action initiatives. More than 2,000 young people in Scotland and Northern Ireland will benefit from Co-op's investment. Rebecca Birkbeck, Co-op Community and Membership Director, said, quote, "Creating fairer opportunities for young people to take action on the issues they care about is crucial in empowering them to make a real difference in local communities. We are delighted to be partnering with UK Youth to grow the #IWill movement so that even more young people can access support and make positive change, whether that's supporting fairer access to food, improving mental well-being services, or creating even more opportunities for young people to get involved in their communities." End quote. Tim Frew, YouthLink Scotland CEO, is delighted to be working with the Co-op and UK Youth on this exciting new chapter for #IWill. He said, quote, "It's vital we do all we can to channel the talent and energy of our young people, and encouraging them to volunteer is a great way to do this. Not only does it benefit their local communities, it empowers young people to make lasting change in their lives and the lives of others." End quote. Article by Julie Curry.
£120 million on track for electricity. Network Rail will invest more than £120 million of Scottish Government funding in the next 3 years to boost the electricity power supply to Scotland's railway network. The investment will see 6 new feeder stations at strategic locations and a further 9 sites upgraded to increase the resilience of the infrastructure for the operation of electrically powered passenger and freight traffic. New connections to the national grid via the feeder stations will increase the overall capacity of the 250,000 volt electrified network. This will accommodate passenger and freight growth and reduce the railway's carbon footprint by supporting the removal of diesel passenger trains. Upgrading the power supply network will enable the introduction of electric trains on service to East Kilbride and Barrhead, in the Borders and across Fife, and support increased traffic on routes like the East Coast Main Line.
District News. Churches. Kirkintilloch Church of God. The usual Sunday Good News service at Regent Hall, Regent Street, has been postponed for the time being. We are still continuing our Zoom services on Sunday evenings at 6:30pm. The speaker this Sunday will be Steve Seddon. A warm welcome to everyone who is able to join us on Zoom. Access details for the stream can be obtained by emailing hello@regenthall.org. For up-to-date and further information on our services, visit our website on www.regenthall.org. Jesus said, "I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance." Luke 5 verse 32. St Columba's Hillhead Church. St Columba's and Hillhead churches have now united to form St Columba's Hillhead Church, with services, groups and activities continuing at both sites. Do join us for our Sunday morning service at St Columba's at a new earlier time of 10am or at Hillhead at 11:30am. Tea, coffee and juice will be served after the service at St Columba's and before the service at Hillhead. If you can't come to a service in person, you can still connect with us by live stream from St Columba's via www.kirkintillochstcolumbas.org.uk or by searching for St Columba's Kirkintilloch on YouTube. Reverend Philip Wright, Minister, St Columba's, Hillhead Church, Old L Road, Kirkintilloch G66 3HQ and 2 Rosebank Avenue, Kirkintilloch G66 2PR. P. Wright at churchofscotland.org.uk. Mobile 07427 623 393. St David's Memorial Park Church. At St David's Memorial Park Church, our morning service on Sunday, July the 17th, will be at our usual time of 10:30am and will be led by our Church of Scotland reader, John Nicholson. During our morning worship, school-aged children will have the opportunity to go through to our halls for their own time of fun and learning with jam. All are welcome to attend our service, and there are some COVID measures still in place. However, the wearing of face masks is not mandatory at this time. We look forward to welcoming you to the church. Our Tuesday lunchtime services have now come to an end until after the summer months. Further information on when these resume will be given at a later date. Home Church, Scotland. So faith comes by hearing what is told, and what is heard comes by the preaching of the message that came from the lips of Christ, the Messiah himself. Amplified version, Romans 10 verse 17. One Church, Home Church. 5 locations: Kirkintilloch, Glasgow, North Coast, Northern Ireland, Stornoway, and online. A church for all ages. 10am, prayer time. 10:30am, fellowship, tea and coffee available. 11am, worship service, including communion, and children's church followed by tea and coffee. The Sunday evening service in Renfield Church Centre is cancelled for July. However, a minibus will pick up people from the centre on Sunday mornings at 10am and bring them to home church for the 11am service. Wednesday, study groups are taking a break in July and August. See Facebook and Instagram for up-to-date information for July and August. Lenzie Church of Scotland. Joint summer services. Sunday worship July 17th at Lenzie Old Parish Church, led by Reverend Louise McClements. July 24, 31 and August 7 at Lenzie Union Parish Church, led by Reverend Dan Carmichael. All services start at 11am. Springfield Cambridge Church. Morning worship on Sunday, July 17th, will be led by Reverend Gordon Mackenzie at 11 a.m. in the sanctuary. The summer school will meet in room 2. The creche will be happy to look after your child, birth to 3 years, in room 2. Morning worship has also been live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website, www.springfieldcambridge.org.uk, and Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. Tea and coffee is available after the service in the Cameron Hall. Come along and enjoy the fellowship. There will be no vestry hour on Wednesday, July 13th, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. There will be no short weekly service of worship in the Springfield Chapel on Wednesday, July the 13th, from 11:10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. St James Church, Hilton Road, Bishopbriggs. Rector Reverend Canon Paul Watson, 0141 230 4080. The church is now open for socially distanced services, face masks a personal choice. There is a communion service at 11 a.m. on Thursday in the chapel, and on Sunday the 17th of July, there are services at 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea or coffee and fellowship afterwards. The Meditation Labyrinth is still available in the car park for a mindful walk around. There are also other virtual services and groups. For up-to-date and further information, refer to our social media. Facebook, St James LS Bishopbriggs. Website, www.stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. Torrance Parish Church. You are assured of a warm welcome at our morning service at 10:30 a.m, and during the school holidays there will be a holiday school at Sunday school. The cafe is closed and will reopen at 9 a.m. on Wednesday the 17th of August 2020. To join the service online, go to torranceparishchurch.online.church. To find out what's on, check the website at www.tpc.org.uk. Colston Wellpack Church. Come along to our morning service this Sunday starting at 11 a.m, led by Reverend Leslie Grieve, with tea and coffee served in the hall after the service. During the summer break, the food bank remains open every Monday and Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. The July Bible study continues this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. All organisations and groups are closed for the summer, and hopefully will be restarting the new session at the end of August/September. Follow our church services on Facebook at Colston Wellpack Parish Church, and if you require further information on any of our church activities, please contact Leslie Grieve on 07813 255 052. Bishopbriggs, Cadder Parish Church. We look forward to welcoming you this coming Sunday to our morning service, which is at 10:30 a.m. in Cadder Parish Church. The service will be led by Reverend John McGregor. Come and join us and be blessed in the ambience of Cadder Parish Church down beside the Forth and Clyde Canal, and be encouraged through the preaching of God's Word and also the praising of His name, led by Jose Javier Ucento Malo, MMUS, and our church choir. Children meet in the church prior to the service and then go up to Cadder North Hall for their activities. Early fellowship meets in the South Hall Chapel at 9:30 a.m. on Thursday for half an hour with Reverend John McGregor, and also available on Tuesday and Thursday on Zoom. For further details, contact the minister on 07387 851 020. Kenmure Parish Church. Worship on Sunday at 11 a.m. will be led by Bruce Keith and Margaret Russell. The service will be followed by a time of fellowship and teas and coffees in the hall. The wearing of masks will leave to personal choice throughout the sanctuary. The service will be live streamed on YouTube and can be found by searching for Kenmure Bishopbriggs. Details of all of our groups can be found on our website, kenmure-church.co.uk. To find us on Facebook, just search for Kenmure Parish Church. If you would like to join our WhatsApp group or receive the Bible studies from ABC, then email us at kimmuirchurch@icloud.com. District News General. Thunder is a friendly chap. Animal welfare experts are appealing for a home for Thunder, a friendly 3-year-old Staffordshire Bull Terrier currently staying at Dogs Trust, West Calder. Thunder is a playful young boy who loves to be on the go. A keen explorer, he enjoys his walks and loves spending time in the garden where he can run around. He is always ready to play a game of fetch with you and is a real bundle of energy. Thunder would make an excellent companion for an active home who can take him on adventures and play together. He would like to live with staffy lovers who would be confident in continuing his training. If you think you could provide a home for Thunder or any of the other dogs at the Trust, call 01506 873 459. Save the Beauty of Loch Lomond by Ross Greer, MSP. One of the best things about living in the west of Scotland is how close you are to some truly beautiful and world famous locations, and you don't even need to own a car to reach them. Within an hour by train, you can be at the shore of Loch Lomond. Protecting these precious spaces matters to all of us. 3 years ago, Yorkshire-based theme park owners Flamingo Land lodged an outrageous plans for a tourist resort on the shores of Loch Lomond at Balloch, kickstarting the liveliest local campaign I've been involved with in my 6 years as the West of Scotland's Green MSP. We lodged 60,000 objections, making it the most unpopular planning application in Scottish history. When National Park officials recommended refusal of the plans, Flamingoland saw the writing on the wall and pulled their application. We won, but despite their comprehensive rejection, Flamingoland are now back with another application. 127 self-catering lodges, a hotel, water park, monorail and more. The only major change from last time, a welcome one, is that the largest piece of ancient woodlands has been removed from the application. But this would still be sold to Flamingoland, putting it at risk of future development. And there's still the equivalent of 2/3 of the pitch at Hampden worth of ancient woodland set to be destroyed. This massive development would have a drastic impact on the well-visited location, right on the loch shore, and at a time when we need to be getting cars off the road to tackle the climate emergency, it would add more traffic to a congestion hotspot. Space used freely for leisure by locals and visitors alike would become part of a branded development. Non-paying visitors would feel like second-class citizens behind those who could afford to rent a lodge. And most of the site would go from public ownership into the hands of a private theme park operator based hundreds of miles away. The community has dozens of ideas. Those alternative proposals could provide sustainable and quality jobs, educational benefits, and far more, while preserving the stunning natural beauty that makes Loch Lomond a global destination. Find out more at www.greens.scot/SaveLochLomond. Help us win this fight. Help for hedgehogs. With hotter temperatures hitting most of the country, the British Hedgehog Preservation Society is reminding people of the importance of leaving shallow bowls of fresh water out for hedgehogs and other wildlife. Faye Vass, the Society CEO, said, "Water and food is scarce for hedgehogs when it's hot and dry, so making water available can literally save a life. Pop a few pebbles in to make sure insects can escape, and if you can, offer visiting hedgehogs some meaty cat or dog food too." If you would like to find out more information on helping hedgehogs, please visit our website www.britishhedgehogs.org.uk. One Parent Appeal. One Parent Family Scotland, OPFS, the national charity which supports single parents across Scotland, has launched its hashtag Eat, Heat, Learn, Play appeal in response to the cost of living crisis. Donations from the appeal will be used to help single parents access practical support so their children can eat healthy meals, grow up in a warm home, and benefit from playing and learning opportunities that will allow them to reach their full potential. A recent Ipsos survey of parents found that single parents have experienced financial hardship in greater proportions than couples with children, with more than half of single parents in Scotland, 58%, reporting that they had found it harder to pay their bills, compared to just 44% of couples with one or more children. Samantha Morrison, manager of the charity Advice and Information Service, said, "Single parents have always had unique pressures when it comes to finances, but the recent increasing costs of living have only deepened the divide and pushed more families over the poverty line. The helpline regularly answers inquiries about money matters, but the number of families calling us worried, anxious and desperate for help has rocketed in the last few months. Families are struggling to afford even the basics, must forgo formative experiences and luxuries such as days out, new clothes or access to internet and devices. Children in these families have a higher chance of missing out and falling behind their peers through no fault of their family, leaving a number of short and long term effects on donate to the hashtag Eat, Heat, Play, Learn appeal at opfs.org.uk. Holiday advice. Summer holiday advice has been issued to Scots as many are travelling abroad for the first time since the COVID pandemic hit. Advice Direct Scotland, which runs the National Consumer Advice.Scot service, said people will be impacted by Brexit changes and staffing shortages in the aviation industry. The charity encouraged Scots to purchase travel or medical insurance, or to check if they are already covered, and to know their rights if the flights are delayed or cancelled. It also published advice in a range of other areas in the Consumer Advice.Scot Knowledge Centre at www.consumeradvice.scot/summer holidays. Advice includes travel insurance. Advice Direct Scotland said holidaymakers should purchase travel insurance as it offers extra protection and solutions if things go wrong. It also pointed out that Brexit has had an impact on people's health cover when travelling in the EU. Delayed or cancelled flights. Legally, airlines must help passengers when their flights are delayed or cancelled, or if they cannot board a flight due to overbooking. This includes offering a refund or rerouting them to their destination. Lost or damaged luggage. Travellers may be entitled to make a claim against an airline if their luggage is lost, stolen or damaged after being checked in. Bank card fees. Bank charge fees of up to 3% for most foreign transactions. This applies when people use their debit card to withdraw cash or buy things while they're abroad. Some banks might also add an extra charge known as a non-sterling purchase fee, which are often flat fees between £1 and £3 that are applied to every transaction. Passports. UK passport holders may need to renew their passport earlier than planned. The UK government now recommends people should have at least 6 months left on their passport from the date of arrival in most EU countries, excluding Ireland. Summer health advice. With the summer holidays now fully underway, across Scotland, NHS24 is sharing summer health advice to keep people happy and healthy throughout the season. The campaign Hello Summer signposts people to the correct health advice and services if they need help during the holidays. Topics such as hay fever, sun safety, kids injuries, barbecue food safety and hydration will all be covered. Dr Paul Perry, a GP and Associate Medical Director at NHS24, said, "The summer holidays are a great chance for family, friends and communities to spend time together and relax in hopefully nicer weather or travel further afield to enjoy a break away from home. It's worth remembering a few small steps can keep you and your family safe from common summer health issues such as hay fever, sunburn and insect bites. Most summer health complaints can be safely treated at home, so our Hello Summer campaign will help. Advice on how to stay healthy at www.nhsinform.scot." And that was read to you today by myself, Ian.
Family announcements. Deaths. Dunn, Margaret. Peacefully at home on July 2nd, 2022. Beloved wife of Jim, a much-loved mum of Sandra, Jackie and Jimmy. An adored gran of Laura, Jennifer, Emma, Jamie, Taylor and great-gran of Sophie and Lily.
Fortified by Rites of the Holy Church, RIP. Reception and Vigil on Tuesday, July 19th, 2022 in St Fallon's RC Church, Kirkintilloch for 6:30 p.m. Funeral Mass on Wednesday, July 20th, 2022 for 10 a.m. Thereafter to Carr Cemetery for 11:15 a.m. For any further information, please contact Co-op Funeral Care, Kirkintilloch, on telephone number 0141 776 2273. In Memoriam. Grace Doolan. 20 years gone, never forgotten, recently reunited again forever with husband Michael. Love Grace, Craig, Evan and Corey. Memorial Services. Mick Williams, Margaret Ann. Brought home to rest, born April 10th, 1945. Died July 23rd, 2020. Please join us at Old Isles Cemetery, Kirkintilloch, on July 23rd, 2022, at 2 p.m. for the memorial service. Thereafter to Broadcroft Hotel at 3 p.m. for celebrations. Public notices. Planning notices. East Dunbartonshire Council public notices. The East Dunbartonshire Council, Glen Road, Strathblain Road, and unnamed road between the A891 Glen Road / Strathblain Road and Clachan of Campsie. Temporary no waiting at any time restrictions. Order 2022. On the 12th of July 2022, the East Dunbartonshire Council made the above-named order under Section 14(1) of the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984 as amended, which makes it unlawful for any person to cause or permit any vehicle to wait at any time as detailed in the schedule below, by reasons of the likelihood of danger to the public. This order will operate from 1 minute past midnight on Monday the 25th of July 2022 until midnight on Wednesday the 24th of January 2024. SGD, Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, Legal Services, East Dunbartonshire Council Headquarters, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Schedule no waiting at any time. Lengths of road in East Dunbartonshire, followed by side of road to which restriction applies. A891 Glen Road / Strathblain Road. From a point 66 metres west of the extended west curb line of Clachan of Campsie, eastward then south-eastwards for a distance of 114 metres. From a point 60 metres west of extended west curb line of Clachan of Campsie, eastward then south-eastward for a distance of 105 metres. Clachan of Campsie. For the entire length of road, west end, for the extended north-east curb line of the A891 Glen Road northward for a distance of 23 metres, east. From a point of 78 metres north of the extended north curb line of the A891 Glen Road northward for a distance of 105, east. From the junction of Crosshouse Road southward for a distance of 23 metres, east. Civic Government Scotland Act 1982 Application for change of details to late hours catering licence. The undernoted has applied for a change of details to incorporate a change of day-to-day manager, as noted below, to their late hour catering licence in terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant: Shell UK Oil Productions Limited, Shell Centre, London, SE1 7NA. Premises: Shell Western Mains, 31 Glasgow Road, Kirkintilloch, G66 1BG. Day-to-day manager, Leanne Clark, 59 Henny Avenue, Pumperston, West Lothian, EH530LL. Hours of business, Monday to Sunday, 11 p.m. till 5 a.m. Any objection or representations in terms of paragraph 3 brackets 1 of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Deputy Chief Executive, Education, People and Business, East Bartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Planning applications. Format: application number, address location, proposal, type of advert, period of reps. TPED 220430, 9 Elm Avenue, Lenzie, East Bartonshire, G66 4HJ. Proposed single-storey side extension, Section 65, affecting CA 21 days. The application plans and other documents can be viewed online through the Council's website. The current restrictions on non-essential office work associated with the coronavirus pandemic means that plans cannot be viewed in Council offices as normal. Written comments may be made within the above period to the Council through the Council's website or to the above address. Any representations will be treated as public documents and made available for inspection by interested parties and may also be published on the Council's website. Scott wins big at Bishopbriggs. An article written by Ian McLean. Bishopbriggs Golf Club played host to some of Europe's top young golfing talents this week. But while players came from France, Germany, Portugal and Scandinavia to compete in the Scottish Under-16 Boys Open Championship, it was a home win spectators who got to cheer as Scott Finlay Galloway lifted the trophy. The teenager from St Andrews took the honours in a dramatic finish by beating England's Daniel Hayes at the first playoff hole after both players finished on the same score. The competition was the first staged at Bishopbriggs, after the course was granted championship status by Scottish Golf. In sunny but windy conditions, the standard golf on show was reported to be outstanding. To make the playoff, Hayes shot the low round of the tournament, a 6 under par 65, which included 5 birdies and an eagle. Having been in the tie for the lead overnight, Galloway also posted a solid round of 2 under par, despite having 2 double bogeys on the card at the 1st and 14th. He carded 7 birdies, including 4 in the space of 5 holes from the 11th. There were 14 under par rounds for the field on the final day, but it was Hayes and Galloway who finished top of the leaderboard, with nobody else able to reach their 5 under total. Speaking to Scottish Golf, a delighted Galloway was quick to praise the course. He said, quote, "This has been my first time at Bishopbriggs, and it was such a nice course. We couldn't have asked for it to be in any better condition than it was. I'm feeling a bit speechless. I'm just lost for words as to what has happened. I came here with the goal of just making the cut, but I wasn't really expecting to win, and here I am with the trophy. I've never really been in this position before, so I didn't really know what to expect. I got off to a bit of a rocky start, but steadied myself up a bit. I played the back 9 well, with 1 or 2 mistakes, but I wasn't really too nervous. I was just shooting for pars, taking birdies when they came. Obviously you're going to make mistakes, and you just have to take that. It means so much to me to win a Scottish tournament, I don't really know how to describe it. That article written by Ian McLean. Scotia get among medals at West Meet. Bishopbriggs-based Scotia Amateur Swimming Club are celebrating their success at the latest West District Dual Pool Meet. The competition, held at Tollcross International Swimming Centre, saw 30 of the club's swimmers taking part, aged from age 9 to 16. That includes swimmers experiencing their first formal competition, right up to those who have competed in international meets. The coaches were so proud of the attitude of the swimmers who achieved 54 personal best times between them and brought home 12 medals. The swimmers were delighted with their results, and everyone at the club hopes that Team Green will be inspired by seeing the efforts and training rewarded. Scotia Amateur Swimming Club is a community-based competitive swimming club based at the Leisuredrome in Bishopbriggs and offers a programme covering a complete range of ability levels. Moor in as city rebuild continues. Glasgow City have signed New Zealand international central defender Michaela Moore from Liverpool. The 26-year-old joins the Petershill-based club from the English FA Women's Championship winners, having spent the last 2 years there and helping them win promotion back to the Women's Super League. The defender won her first cap for New Zealand aged 17 and got her 50th earlier this year. Moore was part of the New Zealand squad that won the 2014 and 2018 OFC Women's National Cup and scored in the 2018 final against Fiji. She was also part of the New Zealand squad at the 2016 and 2020 Olympic Games and the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup. First and foremost, I'm very excited to join the club and thankful for Elaine Gleeson and Laura Montgomery's trust in me as a player and person, she said. I believe my work ethic and experience will add and continue the legacy that is Glasgow City. The club embody so much of what I stand for as a person. I cannot wait to get started on the pitch and in the community. I feel this is exactly where I'm meant to be at this point in my career, and I am empowered by my decision to sign with such a successful club. Head coach Aileen Gleeson said, Michaela brings a wealth of experience at both club and national team level, where she is a regular starter for a country ranked 22nd in the world. She is a humble, determined and intelligent player, and adds more excellent quality to the exciting squad we are putting together. Sports Digest. Football. Pre-season. Read by me, Corey. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy kicked off their preparations for the new campaign with a 1-1 draw against Kilsyth Rangers in their opening pre-season friendly at Duncansfield on Saturday. A goal by Nicky Prentice gave the hosts a 1-0 half-time lead, but a late equaliser earned Rob Roy a draw. Rabs were due to be in action again last night at Stirling University, and they continue their build-up on Saturday with a match at Bonnyton Thistle. That's followed by a game at Broxburn Athletic on Saturday, July 23rd. Rob Roy start their West of Scotland Football League Premier Division season on Saturday, July 30th, away to Hurlford United. Their first home match takes place on the following Saturday, August 6th, and is a local derby against newly promoted Petershill. Rob Roy are also in action this Saturday when they travel to face Lowland League side Dalbetty Star. Vale also have a game lined up away to Pollock on Wednesday, July 20th. Their first league game is away to Benburb on July 30th. Petershill were 1-0 winners in a friendly at Blantyre, Victoria on Saturday, courtesy of a Scott Brodie goal. Bishopbriggs side West, Park United, will play in the WOSFL for the first time this season, after stepping in from the amateur ranks and they continue their build-up with a 4-3 win away to Castlemilk Dynamo. Stephen Graham (2), Chris Todd and Connor Irvine were on target for West Park, who were 2-0 to Premier Division Glen Afton in their first pre-season outing this previous week. Ashfield, now managed by former Hearstains boss Michael Oliver, have friendlies lined up against both Petershill and West Park. This week on Wednesday at home and Saturday away respectively. Field then face Port Glasgow, Girvan and Newn Mearns United before their league campaign starts on July 30th.
Thank you for listening to this week's Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, brought to you by Q&A Review, print speaking to the blind. If you've any feedback, you're welcome to call us on 0141 772 3976. If you enjoyed this recording, feel free to subscribe to our channel.